Hello.
Hello.
I am very clumsy. It shouldn't surprise you why I would even agree to race a Kenyan, but here it goes. So, 30 days arriving in a new country. I'm kind of a deer in headlights. I just kind of nod along, do whatever really I'm asked to do. And the very first time I'm actually asked to go somewhere else besides where I was supposed to be, I went to go to another volunteer site. And that was about 3 hours from where I was training. We go to this site. It's beautiful in the hills of Kenya. Very green. Not what you would really expect when you hear, like, Kenya. You always think, oh, dry, desert. No, it was besides that fact. Green, lush, mountainous, view of Mount Kenya in the background. Very nice. Anyway, the first day of training at this site, we shadowed a volunteer named Amanda. And at Amanda's site, she actually taught at a school that one of us would be assigned to. And this school was completely for the deaf. And I knew a little bit of sign language and kind of made an effort to talk to many different kids at the school. And during many of the classes, I went up and tried to help during the lesson, co-taught. And two kids in particular, John, tall, lanky fellow, and Dida, were ones that actually kind of levitated towards me. Since they were deaf, they never got to hear me speak. They thought I was from Kenya. And they're like, no, you're a Kenyan. You're a Kenyan. No. American? No. And I was like, yes, I'm from America. And then they're like, liar. And I just said, no, I'm American. I'm American. But they saw I signed strange. I signed different. Sometimes they understood me, nothing. Anyway, it was the end of the day, the time that I kind of cherished because it was the end of the school day where we actually got to engage more with the kids. It was the time when a lot of the kids got out their running shoes or lack thereof running shoes and sports equipment and played. And during this time, Dida and John kind of still were talking with me, and we were planning on just me reffing a game of football, soccer. And John didn't like that idea. He was like, no, soccer's boring. Soccer's very boring. You look like you could be a good runner. You run well? Do you run well? And I was like, yeah, in America before, I ran a marathon, and they know what a marathon is, of course. It's Kenya. And they're like, wow, you must be very fast. I'm not that fast. Can you teach me? Can you race with me? And I was like, no. You're good. I'm slow. I'm old man. And he's like, no. You're young. You sure? I want to race you. And I was thinking about it. I was like, it's just 100 meters. It's not that far. It's probably the distance from here to that exit sign, or maybe a little bit further. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. But yet to my surprise, John gets almost the entire school to watch. He was telling all the classes, hey, come here, we're gonna race. I'm gonna race the Mzungu. And I was a little surprised, and I didn't want to call it off. I didn't want to show that I couldn't do it because I already promised. So I just respectfully agreed. I was like, okay, yeah. So one of the other teachers at the school decided to ref it. All the kids were on the left side, just all in the line, just watching. And And in our school, since the students were deaf, they had a big red piece of cloth, like an old t-shirt, to kind of get everybody started. So the teacher's right over here. He's like standing on the line with the red flag, and then we watch the red flag. And as soon as he lowers the red flag, lowers it and goes up, we both take off. I'm kind of excited because I'm like not lagging that far behind. But as like maybe a few sprints afterwards, like I was falling way behind. And I tried my best to like catch up, but I could not. And at the time, I was wearing hiking boots and slacks. And I was thinking, yeah, I can take him. But with the hiking boots being so heavy and the slacks being so constricting, I actually did not sprint that fast. I actually fell. I tried to like make it less embarrassing of a fall. I tried to brace myself with my left hand and just tried my best to just kind of brace my fall and just kind of make it like a somersault fall. But no, that didn't work to my advantage. I'm not that graceful. So what happened was I snapped a bone in my wrist and I slid into the fall. I slid into it and all the kids were looking at me and laughing, and I was just kind of in shock just because I didn't really expect that to happen. And I wasn't really thinking about the pain at the moment. I was just thinking about the embarrassment. I was like, oh gosh, I better just go away. And at this time, I'm going to the staff room where I didn't really know anybody. And when I go to that staff room, like everybody tries to console me. Are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like telling the staff, yeah, I'm okay. And internally I'm thinking, oh, I'm in so much pain. But I'm telling myself, don't be a little bitch. And anyway, lo and behold, the pain doesn't go away. And a few hours later, it gets bigger. And it doesn't take a doctor to know that it was either broken or seriously messed up. And that day, I went in a vehicle to the hospital and never really saw that site again. But 6 months later, things happened at my previous site, and I was told that I was getting a site change to this specific school where it happened. I was kind of less than thrilled. I was like, oh gosh, they're gonna remember me as the guy that fell. They're gonna remember me for my mistake. And when I did go back to the school, I remember it as beautiful as ever in the Highlands. Seeing the school kind of brought back that shame of actually breaking my wrist and thinking I could honestly race a Kenyan. And lo and behold, everybody remembers it, but everybody still asks, are you okay? Are you okay? And I didn't really think it was really consoling because I was thinking, oh, they're just kind of pitying me. But to my surprise, I realized that if this didn't happen, they wouldn't have remembered me and have really cared enough to really ask me if it was okay. So in reality, when I went back 6 months later, it actually made me integrate more into my community. And later I did find out that other people got hurt on that field, other teachers. And I found out that the Kenyan Olympic team sometimes trains in that village. So I didn't feel as bad. So yeah. And then long story short, I ended up coaching the team, and they still remembered me as being the guy that fell. And then the joke of the day was, don't let him fall, don't let him fall. And that's how I can say I've lived. I've broken a bone and raced a Kenyan, and I lived.